oo 300,000 lagu kala qaadanayo. Candace Owens waxaa laga bariyay in 300,000 la siiyo si ay debatekan hadda socdo oo la yeelato ninkan wuxuu ku leeyahay Charlie Kirk waxaa dilay cunug yar oo iska ciyaalka xaafadda ahaa dilay ninka xiran oo Taylor Robinson ay dhahaan sheekada waa la socotiin halka Candace ay leedahay ninkan qorshe Israa'iil iyo Netanyahu ayaa ka dambeeyay dilkiisa marka we will be right back ilayhiin cabaar baan daawanayay debatekan way soo laabanayaan 3 minutes ay qabsadeen way soo laabanayaan mar dhow bal hoos codkayga maqashaan codkayga ma la maqlayaa okay waxaan sameynayaa si ay hoos kommentiyada idinku furmaan waxaan sameynayaa tanaan kor u qaadi way soo laaban doontaaye wax yaraa u dhimanay suga maxaa la hayaa in the meantime maxaa la hayaa Soomaaliyay soo dhawaada any updates from the CDL-kii update fiican ka soo baxayo waa tii qolyihii September baa la bansan yahay September baa la balansan yahay CDL-ka insha Allah update baan ka soo sameynaynaa maadaama ilaahay hadana nabad keenay safartii dheereed ya dadka cabsanaya dadka citizenka ay cabsanaya safartii waxaasi war xataa war waagi Obama jooga dadka la leexin jiray wax la soo weydiin jiray xilliga Trump uu joogo ee la booradii Trump ay ku xumeynayaan miya ma aqaano waaba iska soconaysaaba scam baa wajiga laga saaraya daysale ha socoto weeye ma baanteen CDL-kina meel fiican buu marayaa qolyihii DOT-da iyo qolyihii kale qolyihii DOT-da maya samra live-kii lama bedelin hadda waxaan daawanayay Candace Owens debatekeedii saasaan isaga soo galay maadaama aan keligay ahay iska daawanayay waxaan dhahay inta shaqada ku jirtay inta weelasha dhaqanaysay inta naarsiyada ah ee patientiyada ma taqaanaa take garanayaan inta home care-ka joogtay inta uberka wada iyo inta track saaran debate-ka kula sii daawadaan ayaa is dhahay marka debate-kaas socdo waa the best debate weeyaan Candace Owens $300,000 ayaa lagu siiyay
debate-ka go to Wix and grab your domain name before someone else does
$300,000 lagu siiyay debate-ka
because great names don't wait and neither should you don't just name it claim it on Wix domains
skip the ad okay ما فهمتين عدك ما لا مقلا hoos kommentiyada ku soo qora hoos ilaa amarkii markaa live-ka saa u soo furay bay ayagana debate waxay aadeen break ma ka soo laabteen ma aqaano wallaahi hadday markaan soo galay 3 minutes lahaayeen 3 minutes mar hore dhamaatee maxaa jiro green card-ka lagu safraayo walaalo waxba kama soo kordhinaan ka ahayn qofka dembi galay ama dembi lagu soo oogay yuu isku bixin yaa war waxaan waxbaa ka khaldan yaa akhay debatekii maxaa ku dhacay ma life ku diidaya saas u xiray mobilkan ka fiirinaya suga war berito waxa ka dhacay ma maqasheen baashi Michigan berito waxa ka socda Michigan war yaa Michigan degan yaa degan dearborn yaa degan dearborn michigan soomaaliyey beri waxa michigan ka dhacay maaragteen soomaaliyey michigan maaragteen waxa ka dhacayo Candace Owens.
So imagine Shark Tank, right? But without the cameras, and you get your master's degree simply by launching your own business. That's basically One Day. They're the world's only program where you can get your MBA simply by launching.
Okay, waan soo laabanayna Candace. Okay, berita Michigan waxaa ka dhacayo kii cunsuri ahay oo dhan baa isugu yimid cunsuri oo dhan baa isku soo aruursaday oo waxay leeyihiin muslimiinta meesha deganeed baa la wareegtay waxaan u keenaynaa doofaaro waxaan u keenaynaa calaamadihii crosska waxaan u keenaynaa waxyaalo badan muslimiintaan meesha ka saaraynaa berita cunsuriyiintii iyo Jake Lang iyo groupkiisa berita isugu imaanayo Dearborn Michigan halkaas isugu imaanayaan waayahay debatekii soo
All right, fantastic. So, Andrew, if you want to go with your last couple thoughts.
Yeah, so I just have two more clips to play.
Okay.
Right, and then we can do final thoughts. I'm guessing. I feel like we got where we were trying to go, or at least for the most part. So the two other clips, I do want to play the Twigs clip. That one is important to me. The Twigs DNA clip.
Yeah,
and they're gonna pull it up just to have you respond.
Well,
to it.
you don't have to play it because, like, if you're saying that when I initially watched it, I thought that Lance Twigs' DNA, like, he was directly responding to that because the testimony was a bit confusing. They started by saying that they were going to, like, explaining how they got the samples, and they said Lance, Matt, and Amber Robinson, how they got their DNA samples, and then they started speaking about the gun and said, multiple prints were found on them. And then they moved and they said Lance Twigs's DNA was found on the screwdriver. When I went back and rewatched it, I realized, well, they haven't officially said that Lance or Amber are on the gun. So I think I've already conceded that we don't know that. So I think, like, but if you want to play the clip,
this is directly you saying it is on the gun. Twigs' DNA
I'm saying
is
that
on
I
the
feel
gun.
like I've already said to you, like, I've made that concession. But just to be clear, whenever I make a mistake, I just correct it. So that's why when you were asking me 3 times, I've already said we don't know yet, and I've corrected that mistake. So if the purpose of you showing this is to demonstrate that Candace makes mistakes sometimes when she's taking in a lot of information and she's reading through legal documents and she's trying to remember 9-hour testimony.
It's just demonstrate something else. It is, in fact, the case. We're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make mistakes.
And I've already
You're
conceded.
going to make mistakes in the case.
Yeah.
But in this case, you were very adamant that his DNA was on the gun itself.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that it's not ruled out. We know that there's 5+ prints. I've said this so many times. I had to rewatch the testimony again. It's like 9 hours a day. It got very scientific when they were speaking about this. And I think I wrongly extrapolated that they meant all 3 of them were on the prints when the only person they officially named was Matt Robinson. So we don't know yet if Lance Twigs has his DNA on the prints, DNA on the gun officially just yet.
Okay.
I've already conceded that.
Sure.
So
By the way,
That's
guys,
fine.
this
And
is
then
a
the last
live
one is
debate
one with Erica
for
Kirk.
$300,000.
this is like the Erica Kirk. All right,
Well, this
Erica.
just
You
goes
could
back-
just sit down with me, Erica,
This
but we
just
could do
goes-
it this way.
This goes back to a previous claim that you made.
Yeah,
That's why
sure.
I'm bringing it up.
Straight to jail, straight to jail. For questioning, at least, Erica. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode. Really, you will be wasting your breath. You can spend $1 billion on influencers because this is all becoming increasingly inexplicable. You are asking me to be an idiot, actually, and I cannot do that for you. Someone once commented beneath this show that if the situations were reversed and there were this many verifiable lies.
Straight to jail?
Yeah, so that's the show intro. And straight to jail is a monopoly term.
Okay.
Like,
So do not pass go.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200.
Yes, it's
You're going straight to
obviously
jail.
tongue in cheek. And then we explain that actually I think that she should be brought in for questioning because of inconsistencies. So this is the exact episode when I started to think that she should be sat down and questioned. And I still believe that. I still hold the perspective that Erica should be sat down and she should be properly questioned.
Do you know that she hasn't been?
No, actually, that would be a great thing for the spokesperson of Turning Point USA to say that she's already
but
sat through.
why do they?
I mean, my guess would be she hasn't because they returned everything to her.
Yeah.
But
Why do they owe you that though? Why
they don't owe me
yeah.
anything. That's my show you're watching. Just, the clips that you're pulling are
Yeah.
from my show. So if I want to say something on my show, I can say that. I
You
didn't say
can.
they owe me something. I don't think that's ever,
You
unless
can,
you have
but
another
if you
clip.
say like you need to be sat down for questioning
Yeah.
and you don't even know if they haven't been, that's strange, right?
Do you know if they have been?
No, I have no idea.
So you're just saying, what if they haven't been?
Yeah, if your
You're just kind
entire
of filling the air.
if your
with
entire
just
thing is
junk.
if you're no, it's not junk. If the query is why is it that Erica Kirk's not being sat down for questioning, but you have absolutely no knowledge whether or not she's been sat down for questioning or not, what that does is it creates an innuendo. It creates an inference. It creates out to the ethos that this should be happening because something's wrong here when you actually don't have the knowledge that anything's wrong at all.
I just think that my opinion is that she should be sat down and questioned.
But you're not sure if she hasn't been.
Yeah, and you're not sure if she has been either. So, like I said, I feel like now you're just kind of filling the
Well,
air
to
with
my
nonsense
knowledge,
because
this
Turning
is
Point's
to-
like, we want
To my
make
knowledge,
sure that you go in there and you
nobody-
defend Erica. And I have to say, I don't think you've done an extraordinary job at
Great,
that.
but I'm not here to defend Erica. The thing is,
I
though,
would
is
say
like
that since 4 out of 5 of the clips that you
Yeah.
had on the ready when we asked you guys ahead of time, I mean, I want to just assert how professionally we have dealt with this debate. As you can see, we have not planned any gotcha clips for Andrew. I expressed to him that what we were going to do was just to use people for fact checks, and because I might not remember something, or I do remember something and you're saying no, and that is what I think will register to people as very
Well, wait,
fair.
I expressly
we did not take out of
wait, what?
context clips of Andrew
But
to
I
try to
expressly said
please
that
don't
I
cut
was
me
gonna
off.
bring
We did
claims,
not.
right?
No, when you said you were going to bring claims that
Your
you would want me to
claims.
speak to, you didn't say I intend on sitting you down with out of contexted clips to which we said to you before in an email. Any clips that you want to share with us, send it
Mm-hmm.
over. Let's assert a debate claim so that we can both be ready to respond to it. This just
that's not really what happened.
well. What didn't
yeah,
happen?
this the way that you're framing the exchange,
What
that's
do you
not
mean?
that's not actually what happened. We were negotiating. It is true we negotiated out the claim itself, right? Which one's going to take which position? I wanted to make sure that I had at least an hour and a half on mine, and you got the time for yours to question me. We did. We got through your hour and a half on mine, roughly an hour and a half now on mine. That's basically how this went.
But in the beginning, I did not take an hour and a half to just pull out of context clips with Andrew. I actually debated the substance of what's going on in this trial and this hearing. And I do think that
There's-
I think you fell short of that.
There's nothing
And you-
out of the hang on.
And
There's
I did
nothing
not
here
say,
except
I'm
holding
just
you to
gonna
account
get
for
you
your
to say
claims.
yes or no. Well, hold on. We
Yeah.
were supposed to be debating the case
This
and
is
whether
part of
or
the
not
case.
there was overwhelming evidence.
These are your claims about the case.
No, you then admitted that now you're getting into another sphere and you want to talk about the transcendentals and things that I've
And we
said.
got through-
And like 4
yeah.
out of 5 of your clips are about Erica Kirk. So the general
I
perception
don't think 4 out of 5 even
is
were.
your Turning Point's horse.
Oh,
I
so you
think
just-
quite
just-
a few
you
of
just-
them were.
you
Was
just-
there 3
just made it
Ericas
up?
or 4?
So you're just making stuff
Can
up?
we get a count of how many were about Erica? I feel
I
like
think it was
Yeah.
3.
3.
3.
Okay,
Yeah,
3. I
3.
said 4.
But those are extraordinary
sorry.
claims, which is why you were asked
Okay,
about them,
well,
right?
okay, but the point being is now you're veering into trying to get me to defend my opinions, and then you completely shirk responsibility
Your
when I
claims.
point out yours. No, they're not claims. When
No,
you
they're
tweet
claims.
Erica is too retarded, you go, that's just whatever, and then you move on.
That's a claim that and I'm responsible for the claim.
Well, earlier when I brought it up, you said that it was tongue in cheek.
Yes, sure. That's me responding to your criticism
Okay.
of the claim. That's all I'm doing here.
I was interested, and
And I'm happy to get into also the Patsy stuff now, if you would like to.
well,
Your
that
team
was
has one more
supposed
clip
be
they want
the
to
whole
play
They
from
want
7
more.
days
Okay,
ago.
sorry.
They got one
They
more
had
clip.
to.
and
We
then
were
can
getting
go to
into the Patsy stuff, and you stopped it, and I was explaining to you. Oh, they have one more clip. Okay, let's go.
They want to hit the minimum of 4 clips you were saying with Erica. So
100%.
This is absurd.
okay. And this is the one you're saying from 7 days ago. Okay. While they're looking for that, do you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
ask a question? I know it's been, or like, can I ask a question? Or are we
Not
just in
really. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
We're going to hold to the actual contract itself.
the contract does not say that you are allowed to just question me without me being able to respond to you
I've never said you
or
can't
have
respond.
a conversation.
You've been able to respond to every question I've asked you. And by the way, the other thing is like
Let's have it your way. I want it to look like
still happy
we've
to have
done
the
everything
debate.
Andrew wanted to, so that people can fairly assess the situation. So you have it your way. I
Totally
will not
fine.
ask a question.
Totally fair with me.
So are you good with her asking a question or
He
no?
said no.
Waiting for the clip.
Okay. So you want to wait for the clip first. Okay. You guys have it in the back? Okay, beautiful.
You need
Okay,
the
guys.
Your
Jeopardy
team
thing.
told me they had it. So
That's what I heard. Okay, there we
come
go.
on, guys.
Did this crime. Okay? Because Lance
I
Twigs
can't hear this. My
has his
thing went off. Just
DNA
tell me what
on
it
the
says on
towel.
here. It's fine.
Lance Twigs has his DNA on the rifle.
Lance Twigs
And to
has
be
his
clear,
DNA on the
Lance
right.
Twigs'
Said this- considered
DNA
this 4 times,
was
but I don't
not
know why they
as
feel like they need
degraded
to-
as Tyler Robinson's DNA was on Tyler's rifle. It's Tyler's rifle.
Oh, you
but
also
Lance's
said, yeah, it's
DNA
not as degraded on the rifle.
Yeah, because I thought he was one of the things, but I've already that's what I mean when I say that. Like, it just seems like you're not actually here trying to engage, because even before you got to this, and I knew that you had some secret clip planned, I said to you when I rewatched the testimony, I realized that they didn't explicitly say Lance Twigs. They said 5 other profiles were on it, and that his was the most degraded. So I hope your team feels fulfilled in playing that. Is there any more? I'm happy to play every clip that he has on the ready. Anybody?
You said you had some new evidence at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah,
debate
we should
you had
show that
something
text
new.
message that you read,
Did you
just
wanna
because
share
I think
that?
that's important for the public. You shared it out of context,
I'll do it on my show. I'll share the text
so you're going to
message.
read it on my show, but not show it.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll show it on my show, but that's what I'll do. I'll show it on my
Can
show.
I ask why?
Well, because I want to drip out the evidence. You know, that's got to drip out that evidence, keep people coming back for the show, right?
I don't know if snark serves you so well.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'll release it there. Yeah, that's my intention. But yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want to do closings.
Well, I also would just, if I may ask a question, is that permitted?
Go ahead.
Just so I also have clarity, since your basis has been evidentiary, you keep saying that you have evidence or like you are following evidence. Which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah. Can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But
Can
I
you-
want to
can you
make sure
name
that we
one?
have them listed.
Yeah, but like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following
Is that
the
it?
case.
That's the
Yeah.
question. You're
Yeah,
just not
but, I mean,
following it
it
enough.
seems pretty like if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should like.
All right.
Can you tell me one?
Then let's do the
charge
counter.
That he's,
You can really, hang on. This is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play
Yeah.
clips out of context,
Yeah,
put me
yeah.
in the hot seat. So please just answer the
This
question.
is fair.
Can
Name
you
all
name-
7
can
since
you-
you've been following the case.
Okay, sure. You
Go
name
ahead.
you name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like.
Name all 7.
And I.
Can
I
you
think
name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure, you don't have to
Do
put
it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
your. You don't have
Name
to
'em.
put your fingers up. I
Okay,
can do
hang on.
that.
Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries
Okay.
a death sentence
So
in the
murder.
state of you. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
And
Next.
so just for people, no, don't. I don't have to do it in a time limit. There's nothing going on. And just to explain to people the difference of why that really matters and shows that he doesn't actually care about this at all is because aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined,
Just
and because
avoiding
it
the
carries
question.
a death sentence. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay,
You're
I'm
just going to
waiting.
recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are intimidated when you try to put a time constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate
I got
someone.
it. I got it. Give me the other ones.
yeah. The more you cut me off, the longer I'll take. Do you want to just wait for me to finish of why that's a big difference so that
No,
people
I just
don't walk
want you
away?
to list the charges.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. You just don't get to pretend that there's a time constraint for me to do that.
Well, how long does it take you to list 7 charges?
Because I'm speaking. You just got to.
It sounds like you're just delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them,
Then
and I'm
tell
going to
me
say
them.
again because you're going to get embarrassed. You don't have to rush this. I'm also showing an example of a very flawed debate strategy. I
Okay,
actually
well,
am
I
under
got
no
one.
time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon.
The next two charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next two charges are for witness tampering. And the
What's
final
the specific charges, though?
that is them. Obstruction of justice,
Both of
obstruction
those-
of justice, witness tampering, witness tampering.
Okay, and there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why he's being
No,
charged
no,
with
no.
it.
Just the charges, and then 7.
Yeah, you see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it. So then he's being charged with murder. You just say aggravated murder. That's the distinction. You just want to.
It's a massive. It's
Got
like
it.
you cannot
Massive.
say murder versus aggravated
Massive
murder.
distinction.
This gets to the entire crux of why him being up for the death sentence. And I actually find the defense's filing about why this is not aggravated to be very compelling of why it's not aggravated murder. I actually think that if the state was going to even try to pull this off, they should have charged him with just murder. And then I do also, again, want to stress to audiences that debate strategy
IXL is helping 15 million students succeed in math and language arts.
أنا soo dhex galay.
On IXL, your child can stay on track or get ahead by practicing with fun, interactive.
and you can make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but at least be genuine in pretending that you care about this case enough to know one of the 7 charges that are up against Tyler Robinson when you say the evidence is overwhelming that he's guilty. If you would like to move to final statements, I'm fine. I want to make sure Andrew has had the time that he has requested.
I think your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked you about. If you
Sure.
guys want to pull that up just to confirm the 7 you went through. Can you guys zoom in a little bit for
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness, and count 7,
violent
I said offense in the presence of
in
a
front of
minor.
a child?
Yeah.
That's what
So
I
5, 6, tampering witness, 3rd-degree felony. Now, I did notice something I just was curious about. If I'm just wondering. When you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to do it because you're just going to get double embarrassed. Where's my phone?
You want to see it?
I'm just
You can.
curious. Yeah.
You can literally do that. Here you go. PBD, you're the moderator.
Okay.
Take it.
Let's see
See
it.
if anyone was texted at all during this debate
All right.
about the violent charges or anything.
I'm looking through this. You give me permission.
You
I'm
have
looking
full
at, I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go through my
names.
phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mhm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
so
a compliment.
he's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission. I'm
Yes.
just going to read 3 of them
Yes.
to 11:32 because after that, I don't need to read it.
Any other texts? Could have been Telegram. Could have been something.
All
like
I
that.
have is Signal. You can check that too. I only have Signal. Telegram I used in Russia,
Okay.
and that was it. I downloaded for
I'll
Russia.
take your word for it.
Yeah,
Then-
I don't need to like. I
Okay.
deeply care about this case. I don't need to
I
pretend
get
to
it.
know
If you
stuff that
deeply
I
care
don't
about
know.
the case, I
Yeah.
just, I have my other question is about the steakhouse receipt.
You just said that you were done asking all your
Nothing, just so
questions.
you know,
Yeah,
nothing there.
there. I don't
Yeah. Do you
need to
have
do
the
that.
steakhouse receipts? My question.
I have said several times that I have never said I have the receipt for the steakhouse. I have said the person who's working on that story is going to be forthcoming with the receipt, and that was what I was responding to. And he then dropped the receipt. He redacted elements of it,
Double
and I said, "Stay
embarrassment
tuned."
for
He's the one working
Andrew.
on that story.
Okay, so
I never-
you haven't actually confirmed that
Oh
Robinson
my
was at that
God.
steakhouse.
Weligay ma arkin.
All I did,
That's not
as I
how
said
it
earlier in
Please
this
scan.
conversation, was I spoke to the owner when I broke that story. I think it was back in January. I spoke to the owner, understood what had happened, and that there was a receipt. That's it. That's the extent of what I shared is what happened.
Okay, so to be clear, there's no receipt. You
No,
don't,
I just said the opposite. I said there is
well,
a
you
receipt.
don't have a copy of the receipt.
The receipt was published online.
Yeah, right, with blurred
The
out.
person working on this story
Yeah.
that blurred that out
Mhm.
is what I was referring to when I said stay tuned and keep following his stuff because he went to go do what I hadn't done, which was he interviewed the actual server.
So there's no evidence that Tyler was at that steakhouse.
I would say the receipt with his debit card number, it would be some hard evidence if that
I
is-
agree with that,
Yeah,
but-
so that's it. But you're questioning me.
But is there, as of right now,
he paid, if you're asking me, did he pay with a credit or debit card? The answer is yes.
No. Is there proof that that was actually his debit card that he paid with?
I think you should follow the person that is behind that story.
Well,
It's
the
more
reason I'm
something
asking
that-
you is because you always include it in your timeline. that he traveled to the steakhouse.
Yeah, we've been building a timeline with things that we feel are
But is there any actual
Utah 1102
evidence?
approved. I think speaking to the owner, knowing that there's a receipt, seeing the receipt is good enough to put on our timeline.
But the receipt itself, the question I always had about it is, couldn't you just call the merchant? Like if I've ever had a merchant account, I just call the merchant account processor and say, what's the name on this?
Yeah, I would stay tuned. I feel that having spoken to the owner, that the evidence is compelling enough to put onto my personal timeline of what took place on that day. That's where it's going to stay. And if it gets debunked, I'm happy to take it off. If that's what you mean, that's how an investigation works. Like I said, I did more than enough. It would definitely pass the test by the Utah 1102 rule, for sure, for certain.
To be submitted as hearsay.
Well, yeah, beyond that, because they didn't even have receipts. They were like, Bob
But
told me
the
this.
question is, the receipt itself, it has not been verified to have been Tyler
Yeah, I just want to
Robinson's,
say you're
right?
holding me to a higher standard than you are.
I'm not even holding it.
in
I'm
the
just
prosecution.
asking specifically.
Yeah, I've been very forthcoming. I've told exactly what happened. I spoke to the owner. I got the tip, and
So should that be
chased it
added in
down.
an official timeline that
It's
you
in
give?
my timeline. It's my show, and we can add and subtract what we want, and we do. If
You
we
can
get
do
something
what you
wrong,
want, sure, but
Well,
I'm
I just wanted to
asking,
make sure.
should you include a thing that you know hasn't actually been verified to be Tyler Robinson's?
Yes, you should. If we're trying to build a timeline, you should. Yeah.
You don't think that falls
And then
under...
you should remove it if someone somehow debunks it. But I think that there is very strong evidence that is where he was, and that
What's
is,
the strong evidence? Just the two people who said that they saw him?
You know, I'm actually all good with being. I feel like
Okay.
I've sufficiently answered your question about how I got
All
the
right, fair enough.
information, what happened next. Would the next stage of this investigation being somebody accessing knowing what his debit card was and confirming it? Yes, and I do believe that will happen. If it does not happen and it gets debunked, I'll remove it from my personal timeline that I share on my show.
That officer, the first officer that was up on the roof, do you remember his name?
Officer Bagley.
Yeah, what was his first name?
Christopher.
Christopher. When Christopher got up on the roof, you talk a lot about how his camera died.
Well, he talked a lot about that during the
About
preliminary
his camera
hearing.
died.
Yeah.
Do you think that he planted that screwdriver up there?
No.
No. Who do you think planted it?
If we're just going on am I allowed to have an opinion?
Of course.
At this stage, I would say that I don't buy his assertion on the stand that he didn't check to see if anybody went onto the rooftop before he got up there. I do think that it's possible, it's at least plausible that the screwdriver was planted. I don't believe him. What I can say strongly is that his cam died at just the right time. His body cam died at just the right time. I think that, as you were just grilling me about whether or not I had got the merchant receipt for a debit card, that kind of makes it difficult that we just have to sort of trust that a screwdriver was found and we don't have any should-be evidence of a police body cam. But like I said, you accept that stuff and then are like, did you call the merchant and get, like, it just seems like you
Well, I'm not adding...
hold,
I'm
like
not
I said,
adding
you
this
hold the
to
prosecution to
Well,
a
wait a
state
second.
to a higher standard
I'm
than
not
you do to
adding
people.
unconfirmed evidence to an official timeline that I'm putting out either.
What do you mean an official timeline? This is my
Well, this is
timeline. I made it at home.
So then it would be official to your show?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So then your official timeline, Candace Owens' official timeline,
Yeah.
includes a steakhouse stop that has not actually been confirmed at all.
Well, yeah, it hasn't even been discussed by the prosecution, so it's not like you're debunking that it happened.
Well, there's no evidence for it. There's no good evidence for it at all. There's no camera there. And the steakhouse receipt itself has never been confirmed to be Tyler Robinson's.
I'm assuming this is just like a talking point they gave you, and you got to like keep pushing this, or like
I've been
'cause
following it very closely on X.
the receipt. You weren't even following the charges of Tyler Robinson, but you really
You
wanted
think
to know.
that
I've been
because-
following it
do you
very
think that
closely on
because-
X.
Wait, you think
I'm calling owners of
do you know
steakhouses
that-
and having a
wait,
conversation. You're following combo
Yeah,
on X.
I literally followed the entire trial or the preliminary live. I was live with an attorney. We covered all of it. You think because I have a momentary or lapse where I'm like, oh, it's murder? No, it's aggravated murder. Come on.
You didn't know any of the
That's
charges.
splitting
you Didn't, no, that's not
hairs.
splitting. It means you didn't follow the preliminary hearing at all.
No, it doesn't
Like
mean
you
that
don't
at
know
all.
any of
That's
the charges that are
ridiculous.
against him. When this is like getting literally to the crux,
Oh,
aggravated
man,
murder versus murder.
It's
a
ridiculous.
death sentence.
And not only that, let's point this out. One of the major things here is that this is your official timeline.
It's mine.
Yes. Who else could it be? Who else? There would be Candace
What's your
Owens'
issue?
timeline.
I just don't know
What's
what
your
his
issue with
issues with my timeline.
What's your issue with that?
Well, so the issue is that the entirety of the evidence revolves around two people who claim that he was there and supposedly a receipt. There's supposedly a receipt where Tyler Robinson paid for his steak and his soft drink. No alcohol, right? No alcohol, right? You know nothing about the case. But anyway, this particular receipt, they could have called the merchant account, confirmed it, this type of thing. To date, this receipt has only the blurred information on it that would actually give you the information to confirm whose receipt it is. We have to date, nobody has confirmed that this was actually Tyler Robinson's receipt. And yet inside of Candace Owens' timeline, which she states over and over again, when she says, this is the longest 13 hours, this is 13 and a half hours, the requirement for about roughly 5.5 or 6 hours of that is that he went to the steakhouse. And that's not been confirmed at all. Not even a little bit.
I feel like saying that I spoke to the owner of the steakhouse is me, like, not just being on X looking at opinions, but actually doing the legwork. And that's why like I said, if you think this builds up a rapport with your audience and makes you seem like a serious person, we don't have to keep belaboring the point here. I feel like I've demonstrated that I did as much as I could to confirm this when it came in. I spoke to the owner of the restaurant, obviously took down everything he said, noted that there was, in fact, a receipt that he pulled. That receipt that was published is real. A debit card and a credit card was used. If for some reason somebody misidentified something down the line, or we find out it's a different Tyler Robinson, I'm happy to remove it from my timeline. But for right now, I think that there's enough under the Utah 1102 rule for me to keep it there. I don't really think we need to keep going into circles about this receipt. It's my timeline.
I don't know why the 1102 rule would apply here for your
because
timeline.
You will constantly cite things that are said in that courtroom that have less evidentiary support than me contacting and speaking with the owner of the restaurant. It's not like I dreamed it, as to use your expression. So it's in my timeline, and I'm going to keep it there. If that's
sure.
cool.
You can keep whatever
Great.
you want there. I'm
Okay.
just saying that there's no evidence he was ever there.
Okay, thank you. I think
No
we
hard
covered the
evidence
point.
anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with closing.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to do before we go into ad break, right after this will be final thoughts. I'll be asking both of you if anything on your opinion, thoughts changed on the case, and then we'll finish it up from there. So with that being said, a 3.5 minute break, and then we'll come back for final thoughts.
All right.
All right, you guys, if someone followed you everywhere that you went,
guys السلام عليكم مالي مقلع عدكي يوم مقشان واحد لي شيء عدكي يوم مقشان مالي مقلع guys مالي مقلع واتهاي horta tiktok live kumaana talagelin inaan soo galo iska daalanaa safar iyo waxbaa laga yimid laakiin barnaamijkan wuxuu soo bilowday sheekadan markii la dilay last year Charlie Kirk ninka cunsuriga ahaa markii la dilay ayay sheekadan soo bilaabatay marka Candace oo la yaqaano gabar madow caan ah xilligii Black Lives Matter lagu kacsanaana soo caanbaxday oo hadda in muddaaba ka soo horjeeday Trump iyo Netanyahu iyo arrimaha Falastiin aad uga hadasho dadkii ugu horeeyay oo genocide ku tilmaamayna ku dhiiraday ayadoo showga mataqaana Piers Morgan ninka la yiraahdo joogta ayay ka mid ahayd marka waxaa dhacday ninkan Andrew ee dhahanay cadaanka ah wuxuu si secret oo la shaqeeya qolyaha la yiraahdo TBUSA oo ahaa organizationkii oo Charlie Kirk oo madaxda ka ahaa organizationkaas waa organization aad u weyn way by the way waxaana lacagta ugu badan ku fangareeya niman Yahuuda oo taajiriin oo billionaires ku fangareeya Charlie Kirk waxay aaminsan tahay Candace Owens markii uu bilaabay inuu arrimihii Israa'iil ka gaabsado oo uu su'aalo bilaabay oo uu yiri si wax u socdaan raali kuma nihin kama hadli karna miya sheekooyinka markuu bilaabay ayaa lagu tagay oo laga taqlusay oo nimankan Yahuuda waxay arkeen ninkaas inaysan control karin oo uu mataqaana nin yahay aftahana opinionka dad badan oo mataqaana Mareykan uu bedeli karo marka cabsi laga qabo hadalkiisa ayaa waxaa la yiri ninka waa looga taqlusay waa la dilay haba dhacda saase ninkan marka sheekadan debate-kan hadda live-ka ah maxaa keenay marka ninkan Andrew-ga la yiraahdo oo TBUSA si secret oo la shaqeeyo ayaa wuxuu rabaa inuu soo caanbaxo wax badan buu Candace ku dhegdhegay ma maqasho adiga wax la yiraahdo ku qadimayside ku qabso ku qadimaysid wax la yiraahdo ayuu wadaa marka in muddo wuxuu ka dhahay podcastyo kale Candace way iga cararaysaa Candace marabta inay debate la gasho marabta inay la hadasho way iga baqaysaa evidencegeeda ma taqaana inaan kala hadla marabto this and that way iska ignore garaysay markii dambe wuxuu taagan yahay $300,000 ayaan bixinayaa hadday 4 saacadood 3 saacadood ilaa 4 saacadood hadday ila fariisato oo debate ila gasho arrintan dadkii oo dhan waa yaabeen waxaa la yidhi Candace 300,000 oo bilaash ah maxaan ku diidaayay tiri saaxiib soo badbooday tiri waa la wada hadlay ninkaas hadda ma taqaanaa khaa'inka ah asagana iiraaniyiinka ah ma taqaanaa PPD la yiraahdo ayaa la yidhi ninkaas noo noqdo moderator noo noqdo debatekaa marka hadda la qabtay debatekan ninkaa wuu ku fashilmay marka debatekan yacni twitterka iyo meel walba ninkaa waa laga joogi waaye waxaan hayaa evidence waxaan hayaa caddaymo Candace waxaa waaye dhulkaan la jarayaa waa soo afjarayaa sheekadan waxaan caddaynayaa Charlie Kirk inuu dilay cunuga la yidhaahdo Taylor Robinson waxaan caddaynayaa Israa'iil inay ka dambeyn waxaan caddaynayaa Netanyahu inuu iska dambeyn waxaasuu ka hadlayay okay marka ninkii dhulkaan lala jaray
recorded what you searched and studied your habits, you'd call the police. When your smartphone does it, we call it convenience. At Zero Ghost, they believe that you shouldn't